Welcome to Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. We started off today with a beautiful rendition from the one and only Tina Turner, who left us, who left the earth for a better place yesterday. Let's throw it back here to Howard. Howard, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm just sitting here with trying to fight it back, man. It's tough when they go. It is tough. And I love that song. I love Tina Turner. She was absolutely just an icon of the 80s, the 60s, 70s, 80s. Nutbush City Limits came out when I was in high school. Played the hell out of it. It was great. I'm just, a little emotional this morning. We're going to pass it over to Jack. He's probably a little less emotional.
Tina Turner's been a stalwart for ages, and I enjoy listening to her, and I hope she rests in peace and has a good time on the other side. I'm here with the master of the Professor Frankenstein of Tin Can and Spoon.
I love that, but I learned a lot about Tina Turner. I've got to admit it. I didn't know a lot about Tina Turner, and I learned a lot about Tina Turner with all the different. I knew who she was. I knew she danced really great, could sing. But I wasn't like Howard really knows about Tina Turner. So
she was amazing, totally amazing. Just an amazing woman. And after that thing, she got out of that abusive situation with Ike
Turner. Yeah,
she just flourished. I mean, it was like a rose coming to life. I mean, she did so much and did so. It's so entertaining. I've just got to go ahead and stop, and you go ahead and take the show because.
Let me tell you, Howard.
Getting a little ice, getting some ice sweats here.
I got you, brother. I got you. I tell you though.
Right. What you got for us today, Egberto?
Today, the title of the show is "Moms Demand Action Memorializes Uvalde." KAD President talks about the Texas Legislature failure and GOP and the attempting to tank the economy. Now, here's the thing. I don't know that I'm going to get to all of them again because like yesterday, people called in and they changed the show. So folks, please give us a call at 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738, and you decide what you want to talk about, but we are going to get in that Moms Demand Action interview that I did with Susan Pollard and Gabriela Diaz, who put the event together yesterday. I went to it was a short event here in Kingwood to memorialize these folks who were gunned down in Uvalde, and it was just a touching ceremony that they put together in the town center at the park here in Kingwood. And it was just something, that's what we do here, Howard and Jack. We're a community station, so we want to let and inform folks about what's going on in the community. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to bring in what the Kingwood area Democrat president had to talk about. So, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate to the station, extension number 2 to be on air. I'd love for you to be on air with me today. And of course, we always want you to hit that extension 1 to contribute or go to kpft.org. I'm starting the program right away, but I just want to kind of give the lowdown as far as what we have to offer, and then we'll get right into the show. First, before I start that, I'm going to ask Howard to tell us about that bus tour.
Oh, that it's going to be a really cool thing to do. $75 donation to KPFT will get you a pass for a 1.5-hour VIP tour of the Houston Herman Park Museum District, also the Texas Medical Center, with our very own Mr. McKinney, who brings you the Houston Hour every Friday evening at 6. It's always a very entertaining show with him. The pass is good for an entire year, and they do this tour once a month on the open-air school bus. It is just the neatest thing you've ever seen. Go ahead and take the tour tour with us, donate to KPFT. $75 will get you in the door. Probably a good first date thing to do if you have a first date coming up. You'll want to get in on this. $75 VIP tour of the Historic District, Herman Park, Museum District, also the Texas Medical Center with our very own Mr. McKinney.
Absolutely. Thanks, Howard. And remember, folks, we also have a $40 membership to KPFT Pacifica Network. Gives you voting rights, the entirety to the thing, to be a part of supporting the station. Likewise, we have that $100 donation for getting the Politics Done Right t-shirt, along with the KPFT logo on the t-shirt. So you get both the Politics Done Right insignia, and it's really designed well where you get the KPFT logo on the inside of one of our lettering. And the third option is Breakfast with Egberto. If you want to go out with Politics Done Right for breakfast, get some coffee, donuts, bagels or something, 713-526-5738. That is a $250 contribution. And you can either order that right now on the website, kpft.org, hit the donate button and select that as the choice that you have, a $250 choice. And we go out for, hang a bit. Hey, look, additionally, folks, remember this. We have bricks. What are bricks? If you go ahead and order a brick, $25 a month for 4x8 brick, you will be memorialized here at KPFT with whatever insignia you want on that brick along with your name. For an 8x8 brick, it's a $50 a month contribution. For those of you who are awash in cash and want to do some good to ensure that Americans can stay informed with that eclectic music and news and information, please consider doing so. That is a wonderful way of leaving yourself a legacy at a place here in Houston that has permanence. Everybody will know who are walking up those pathways that you are a part of keeping this station alive. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to give, extension number 2 to come on air. And by the way, folks, I want you to give early if you can, like right now, please. I ask you so kindly so that we can call you out on the day that you give. Thank you so kindly. Let's go ahead. Before I play the Susan Pollard interview, I have a call on already. So let's go ahead and bring Tag into the fold. Come on in, Tag.
Morning, Egberto. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good. I just wanted to talk about paying the bills for a minute.
Go ahead, sir.
Subjects on that. One thing with KPFT paying the bills.
Yes.
KPFT doesn't do any deficit spending. They raise the money and then they pay the bill. So it's great. And at one time, the hourly charge at KPFT was like $150 an hour to keep the station running. Nowadays, that bill is about $80 an hour. So by donating to the station, you get pretty good bang for your buck there. And I think it's real important for people to know that their money is not going to pay the interest that KPFT owes. They don't have any interest bills they're paying like the federal government. The federal government is actually doing deficit spending. It'd be like if you had a credit card and you maxed out that credit card and then you got another credit card to pay the interest on the first credit card.
Yes.
And so we have some people in our government who thinks that they can just cut the budget to get out of this problem. That'll never happen. The only way you're going to get out of the deficit problem is to raise taxes. It's the only way that our government can go if we want to get out of this problem. And we all know that when you borrow money to pay your debts, you're going to owe more money in the next round. And that's a very bad way to go. So they really, just to say, oh, we're going to cut the budget, really does nothing for us. We still have to cut the interest payments we're making in order to get out of this problem. And they're not even talking about cutting the interest payments and by increasing revenue. So that was kind of my little thought about paying our bills.
Well, thank you so kindly for that tag. I wish more, one of the fallacies that are going out that's going out there right now is they're trying to tell you, oh, we don't need to raise taxes because cutting taxes actually brings in more money than it puts out. And I debunked that yesterday on the show. And I also have a little segment that if I don't have a lot of callers, it's a fairly long segment where I did a lot of debunking of that as well. But thank you so kindly for calling in with that statement, Tag. Anything else you want to say before I go off to the Susan Pollard interview?
Yes, I sure wish that somebody would come up with the details about how much increased revenue that $1.7 trillion tax cut brought to the federal government. It's a tag. As I explained in that video, it's the biggest lie. And, we can actually quantify these things. And there's some researchers that have done, this isn't the math that is directly upon you. You have to look, when you give folks back money, you have to figure out what they did with the money and throw that money into an equation with what occurred in the economy to see what value it really has. And, tax cuts when you do all the calculations, tax cuts do not bring in more revenue in the aggregate. In fact, because it generally goes to rich people, they don't throw that money back into the economy as they normally would. If you gave tax cuts to a whole bunch of poor people and lower middle class people, that immediately increase economic activity because those people throw that money into the system right away. So these are all things that these guys are smart enough to know, Tag, but they don't tell you because you would never have a tax cut for wealthy folks if folks really understood how the macroeconomic system ran. And that is why we are here at KPFT, to try to let folks know, don't believe what you're hearing on TV in the way that it's presented on TV. Because again, we can show how things actually work. And we're not showing something that they don't know, but they just won't tell you. Anything else, Tag? Yeah, Egberto, I've got to ask, we all know about sales tax, right?
Yes, sir.
And we all know about capital gains tax.
Yes, sir.
I kind of wonder about how much tax was paid when Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion. How much of that $44 billion went to the federal government in a tax basis? I think that's a very important question.
Actually, on that, as I understand it, based on what I know about buying, stock, cap, exchange, etc., as far as sales tax, zero. So,
that's right.
Yeah, zero. So there are two different economic systems. There's an economic system for the wealthy and an economic. And let me just give you an example of the economic system for the wealthy. When it comes to stocks, right? Stocks are mostly owned by the wealthy. I think 10% of the people in this country own like 80% of the stocks, somewhere around there, either 60 or 80. I don't quite remember. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but it's huge difference of what 10% of the people owe. Now, when those stocks appreciate in price. In other words, if a stock goes from, let's say, $10 to $20, and let's say you sell the stock, which means it's what you call you realized your gain. That is also income to you. That is like a company paying you money or something. Well, you sat on your butt for that increase in that stock. You pay on average, no more than about 20% or so on that. If you are making, let's say, $80,000 or $100,000 of adjusted gross income, when you look at how much you as a wage earner pays, you could be paying up to 35 or more percent. So it turns out that the guy who's out there working, and guy or gal, I should say, who's out there working, they pay more money than the person sitting at their pool watching their stock appreciate in price. We have a distorted system, and they try to give excuses as to why that is okay. And it's not, but it's who controls what media to inform most of our people. And you know what is the saddest part about it, Tag? We have poor people and middle-class people defending having rich people hold on to an unfair portion of the labor that we, the poor people, we, the middle class people, actually provided. And we only are in that position because we don't know. And that's why when those people who fund KPFT and other programs that try to enlighten, because, you're not going to hear the mainstream media in any detail tell us a lot of this stuff. That's why we're here. And that's why we ask you to support us at 713-526-5738. You hit the extension number one to go ahead and contribute. Again, $100 gets you the KPFT t-shirt. You don't have to pay it all at once. You can do it over months. $100 gives you our t-shirt, the Politics Done Right t-shirt. And if you'd like to go out to breakfast with Egberto, just call it up and say, I want breakfast with Egberto. And that's a $250 contribution. And of course, $40 gives you the option to vote at this station. But if you do that, you know that you're doing something positive to move it forward. Thank you so kindly, Brother Tag, for hanging in there with us early in the morning as we've switched to a new time. I really appreciate all my peeps that have followed and said, I'm going to listen anyway. Thank you so kindly, sir.
Love the show, Egberto, and I'm happy to support you guys. So
thank you, Tag. You are a great supporter of KPFT all around. Thank you so kindly. Yep. All right, welcome to...
Need a few more bucks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
You're a great guy. Anyway, Roberto Luis, mi hermano de Panama. Bienvenido a Politics Done Right. I also have Eric Hayes, my favorite conservative, one of my favorite conservatives. We have a lot of conservatives that come and we have great conversation on the chat. Welcome aboard as well. Persuasive Barrier says, gave what I could the other day. Persuasive Barrier, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you as much as we appreciate all of our listeners. Anyway, yesterday, I was informed that we were having a memorial for the tragedy that occurred in Uvalde. And I could not have been more honored to attend and be with these women, mothers. Look at this. I just got a brain. You know what? Mothers demand action. Mothers demand action. So after the ceremony, and I taped the ceremony and prepared the ceremony. If we have some time to play that as well. But it was Susan Pollard put on a very tight, short, meaningful ceremony that really gave some oomph to what occurred out there. So I interviewed her and one of her cohorts yesterday or last night in the park when they did this. So what I want to do is I want to play that now. And I want to thank Susan for all the work she is doing to make this a better place, to make America a safer America. So here we go. I'm here with Susan Pollard and Gabriela Diaz. The first thing I want to do is ask, what is Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America? What's the purpose of your group?
So the group is a grassroots organization to work hard to prevent gun violence in all sorts of ways, to support survivors of gun violence, to get legislatures work towards passing sensible gun laws.
Well, I just came to have this, I guess you'd call this a memorial for the folks who perished at the site. And I just want to thank you all for doing this. I think more people need to see what's happening. What's your thoughts at what happened in Uvalde?
I think I was in the pickup line about to pick up my daughter who was in the same grade as these students. And I've been a teacher for 16 years. So I think that for me, it was experiencing things from many angles. And I think that what you're saying is right, that there's a whole kind of generation of adults that are really detached from what students are having to practice every day, what teachers are having to practice.
When you say that, are you talking about your kids in school having to do the drills?
For sure. I mean, nobody here tonight did a drill for something that would actually happen. Like my mom hid under a desk from the Russians that never came. But our students see that these things happen, and they see that there is no change happening. So that's what our group is about, is we're demanding change, because this cannot be a new reality for the United States.
I hope not. Susan, now, the legislature is about to end. I think it's the last days on Monday. And they had various bills that they attempted to pass. There are a couple of them that I know you were excited about. It seemed like we were going to get the 21 euro. What are your thoughts as far as how we are being represented, not only locally by our local folks, but nationally? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's an ongoing frustration because they're not actually representing their constituents. 80+% of all Texans, as well as people across the nation, want sensible gun laws. People feel it's reasonable to do things like raise the age to buy an assault weapon from 18 to 21. They want background checks on every gun sale. They want these things to keep us safer, and our legislators, even when they hear from constituents, aren't passing those laws that do keep us safer.
So what can your organization do to incentivize them to do that?
Well, we certainly work to organize to make sure that the legislators hear in their ways that people do want those. We get the word out to make calls when bills are coming up. We keep an eye on those bills so that there is communication about what people want. We also, Moms Demand Action is part of every town for gun safety, and every town designates candidates as gun sense candidates who are in favor of sensible gun laws. And so anybody voting can go to the Everytown website and find those candidates.
Now, what I find a lot of times is organizations like yours, you do a lot of the paperwork and you follow the bills that are occurring. Are you eventually going to become political in the way of saying, well, the way they voted this time around was wrong? We are actually going to put up a candidate that we know is going to get the job done.
In every single election since I've been part of Moms Demand Action, we've had Texas moms running. We have a whole program called Demand a Seat. We are training students because they are just a few years away from being able to represent themselves and their fellow students. So if we don't have lawmakers who are willing to replace irresponsible laws, we are very ready to replace those lawmakers.
And you do have actions to work on finding candidates that will fulfill that need.
And candidates should be people like Susan and me and you, because that is what representative, democracy is all about. So we are electing moms as well as lawyers. We're going from the school board all the way up, every part of the ballot, because we are done with the inaction that we've seen in the Texas legislature.
Now, Susan, what would you want to tell those that are listening to you right now? How can they get involved with your organization? How can they get involved politically, as Gabriela was just talking about as well? What can they do?
Well, if they're looking to get involved with our organization, they can text JOIN to 64433, which gets them in the Moms Demand Action Network and connected up to the nearest group to where they are. Moms Demand Action works very locally. We're very involved in our specific communities. And if they want to get involved politically, once they're a part of our organization, if that's a good fit for them, we certainly during legislative sessions educate all of our members about what bills are coming up. We have a team of people within Moms that work on the legislative issues.
Susan and Gabriela, thank you so kindly for speaking to Politics Done Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to let me get that out. There we go. All right. That was Gabriela and Susan. And I tell you, they put on an excellent memorial last night. And we couldn't have asked for better. Folks, we have to do better. We have to be engaged. And, when they told me about the event, they said there would be, maybe 10 or 12 people out there. And what we had was over 40 people that showed up in the middle of Kingwood on a work day to memorialize something that occurred. Change. I tell you something, folks. Change is coming. Change is going to come. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to play that one tomorrow. There was a caller yesterday. By the way, folks, give us a call. Please call in early so that I don't have to rush you off the phone when you're talking or anything like that. 713-526-5738, extension number 2 to be on air, extension number 1 to donate to the program. You know, we are in fund drive mode, but I'm still giving you a program. My expectation, folks, is that you'd say, yes, we know, Egberto, you must raise $250 every show that you're doing. So please assist us in doing that. $40 give you a voting membership in KPFT and Pacifica. $100 gives you the KPFT Politics Done Right t-shirt. $250, breakfast with Egberto. And I'll take you out, get something to, some coffee and something to eat. We'll sit down and chat at politics or whatever you want to talk about. We're trying to do whatever we can to raise the money for this station so we can stay on air and so that we can inform you positively and actively and truthfully. And that's the most important part, truthfully. There is so much fake out there. When folks talk about fake news, it's generally if somebody's talking about fake. A lot of times that's what they're doing. You know, here, we don't ask you to just take what you're hearing here at face value, but to, if you feel the need to, double check, triple check, corroborate. I don't mind at all. 713-526-5738. Extension number 1 to contribute, extension number 2 to come on air. If you want to come on air right now, 713-526-5738, extension 2, all lines are open. But we do need your support, and the fund drive ends on Sunday, which means I've got today, which is Thursday, and tomorrow to bring up the numbers that I've made. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate. Please go to kpft.org as well if you have the wherewithal, and select Politics Done Right as a program you're supporting, and support the program however best you can. Okay. I think I'm going to bring this one tomorrow, and that is there's a particular legislator, and I'll leave that for tomorrow to specify names, etc., who decided to go to Austin and pretty much joined the sect that promotes hate on many Texans. And this, for the caller who called one time and said, we can't do anything about it. Government is going to do what they're going to do. And I said, absolutely not. We are the government. We cede power to the government when we don't act, when we don't vote. Howard in the studio is passionate about that. He's passionate about we making a change for voting right. Am I right, Howard, that we must go out there and vote?
Now you're going to make me get on my soapbox.
Well, I want that soapbox because it's going to fit right into the next thing that I'm going to do, my brother.
Absolutely use that power. It is the last right you have left. These politicians are stripping us of our rights right and left. Get out there and vote them out of office. That is the last right you have left. Register yourself if you're not registered. Shame on you if you're not registered to vote. But that's another story. Get these people out of our business. Get them out of our reproductive rights. Get them out of our schools. Get them out of everywhere. Get them out now. Vote them out. Use your power now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and here's the deal. That is exactly what this person decided to do. When this person decided to vote, when this person decided to go in there, that's what they did. Did you just say that Sandy's in the house, Howard?
No, he and I are texting back and forth. Sandy is not feeling well today. He pulled a muscle in his back, and he's just in terrible agony, the poor man.
Oh, Sandy, get better, brother.
Yes, please. What we would like for you to do is during Amy,
Mm-hmm.
Can you can you just drop in and pitch for us?
Okay, that's fine. Okay. That's fine. All right.
And you've been pitching up a storm today, I'll tell you.
Well, we're trying.
Are opening now.
Yeah, we're trying. But, you know, folks, Politics Done Right, KPFT, You Talk, none of these programs are there. The great music from Wide Open Spaces, but with Rourke, none of that happens without folks contributing and really helping out so that we can stay on here. Anyway, let me go ahead and do this. As I said, so this person, and I think I'm going to play him tomorrow, he decided they did not do what they were sent to do for the district. And you know what he did? He launched this campaign to go ahead and work on being a part of the body politic himself. So, I mean, that's what we have the power to do. Any one of you out there, if you have time, again, our legislature only meets once every 2 years for about 4 months. That's it. You can be a representative of your community. You can be a good politician. It is we the people. We can do it. And, you know, I want a lot more younger folk to get involved. I was talking to the president of the Kingwood area Democrat yesterday, Ellie Porras, and she said, and let me just host hat off. I used to be the president of the Kingwood area Democrat several years ago. And, you know, so she came over and she said, "Hey, Egberto, I have something to show you." And then she showed me who her new I don't want to call it who our new compatriots are, the leaders of the new Kingwood area Democrats. And I had to give her a big hug. A lot of young people that are infusing new energy into the body politic, infusing that we are going to make a difference. We're not going to cede the politics to the good old boys. We are going to make our politics that serve us all. I want you to listen to Ellie as I play it right now. I'm here with Ellie Porras, president of the Kingwood area Democrats. Hey, Ellie, first of all, Kingwood area Democrats in Kingwood?
There are Democrats in Kingwood. We are 33% Democrats.
And it has increased since you've taken power. That is so good. Hey, anyway, let me tell you something. What's going on right now in the state, the legislature is not good. It's not good for the entire Texas. Some people just think it's a Democratic thing. I think what's going on over there is what?
I think so. I think there are Democrats who are actually voting against what their constituents want, and then Republicans are power hungry. They've just gone crazy.
Now, there's something that kind of bothers me. I did a piece today where I called it, "Are we becoming a theocracy?" Because what's your thoughts on the types of things we spent time on and the types of policies we didn't even look at?
They're spending all their time on right-wing Christian power and not on what the people need, you know, the issues that we have.
Now, you know what surprised me most of all is something like we have Texans right now, even here in Kingwood, that need health care. They're without health care. There is health care on the market for them right now that we Texans are paying for. Why didn't they bring that up?
It is not top of their list. My feeling is they don't care. They don't care about the actual people. They don't care about the health care or body autonomy or how about voting ethics? Because you heard today, Mayor Turner had a speech and they are voting in to take all the power of Harris County specifically so that we can't run our own elections. And if they don't like how our elections turn out, then they can come in and change it.
It seems like, and you know, it's interesting because one of the laws that they passed, those two, the tax as the assessor collector can actually be removed from office and then take over the election. It is sad. So what are you doing? You are the president of Kingwood Area Democrats. It's your job to mobilize folks here in the surrounding areas. How is that going?
You know, it's been slow, but I want to tell you, our next meeting, we are having Sherry and Tony Vince, and Tony is the precinct chair of 287, I believe, in Maryland, and they work as a team, and they had the highest voter turnout rate for a precinct.
Wait, which precinct is that?
I think it's 287 or 281. It's in Maryland.
Right.
They had the highest voting turnout rate in the state of Texas.
Wow.
So they are coming to tell us what their secret is. I'm sure it's taken them a long time and a lot of work, but they're going to walk us through the process and tell us their story.
Well, you know, that's why clubs like yours are so important, because it actually gets people activated and gets the job done. Give me a quick closer. What would you like to tell the audience out here?
It's time to get off your butt and vote. Help us get other people to vote. Apathy. We are non-voting state. We have got to get everyone out to vote. Do you know that if Harris County, if all the Democrats in Harris County voted, the state would turn blue, would never go back, and we would always have a Democratic president because of the what's it called?
The Electoral College.
Electoral College. That is what we need to do. We need to go precinct by precinct, door by door, and get everyone out to vote.
Ellie Porras, president of the Kingwood Area Democrats. Thank you so kindly, and thank you for the work that you're doing to mobilize.
Thank you.
That was Ellie Porras, who is working very hard in Kingwood to activate the vote, along with a whole lot of other good folks out there just trying to get folks to be a part of the body politic. All right, we've got Kyle on the line. Brother Kyle, come on in, sir.
Hello, brother.
Hey, you said it. I love the way you said it, Kyle. How you doing? Talk to me real quick.
Thank you very much. I am still going for presidency. I wrote down my information for presidency, my platform.
Great. Great, sir.
And I am a libertarian.
Okay.
I am a libertarian. Yes. Many years I have been in college, and I even plan to go back to college.
Well, good. You're a libertarian. I think you're the person that called yesterday, and I told you to go ahead and build your platform. And when you have your platform built, to give us a call and let us know what your platform is, right?
I have it all on paper now. I am reading it. I'm reading from the paper now. Okay,
great. Well, let me tell you, you waited a bit too late to call for putting that out, but let me ask you to do something. You know, you have our email. Go ahead and let us hear a little bit more about you. Okay, that is KPFT at politicsdoneright.com. All right, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
You have a great day, brother Kyle. Take care, my brother. All right. All right. Anyhow, folks, so that was Ellie Porras, folks. Give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Since I haven't gotten any notes right now, I have one other subject that I want to cover. But before that, I want to do a little bigger pitch here. And I promise you to give you some more, but I want to do a pitch here. Right now, we kind of dried up in the contributions that are coming in. I don't have anybody to thank right now. I would love to have somebody to thank right now. So what are the options that you have? You can say, I want to be a voting member of Pacifica because we know you're doing good work, and I want to also be a part of the direction of that station. A voting member gives you a voting membership, gives you for $40, gives you that. So if you call 713-526-5738, extension number 1, you can say, I want to get a $40 membership. Option 2 is the Politics Done Right t-shirt. The Politics Done Right t-shirt is a $100 contribution. A $100 contribution gives you the t-shirt and also the voting. Anybody who gives 40 or more immediately entitles them as voting members of the Pacifica Network. Okay, so put that in the back of your head. Likewise, we have the $250 contribution, and that is Breakfast with Egberto. All right. And I'll take you some coffee, some bagels, whatever. We sit down and we chat, whatever you want to talk about, or politics or questions, query. I promise you a good time. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate, or kpft.org to do it online. And by the way, the Breakfast with Egberto is online now. So if you go ahead and donate, select Politics Done Right as the option, and the gifts that you're going to give is, if you decide that I want to give KPFT $250 and I'll have some Breakfast with Egberto, that is 713-526-5738, extension 1, or kpft.org. Make my day, folks. Give us a call. If you are able to give, if you have the ability to give, to keep this on air, if you like what you hear here, if you like what we're doing here, and I tell you what my premise on Politics Done Right is. My premise on Politics Done Right is, first of all, I am a very progressive person. But I'm a very progressive person who understands that not everyone is progressive, and that we all are in this boat together. We all live in this boat together. What else do I believe? I hate absolutely no citizen, no person. I've taught myself not to do that. And in the process of doing that, it means that I try to foment workability among people. No matter what one's belief is, I think we have to find a way to stay and be together, because none of us is leaving this country. Not one of us are leaving this country. So this type of program isn't going to be the one that's going to be explosive and trying to create dissension among people. If you're a progressive, or if you're a right winger, you have no point to be around me. That's not life. That's not what I believe in. I do believe, if you take a look on the internet portion of this program that we do, we have a great balance of people who believe every spectrum. And in fact, if I look at I'm looking at my chat right now, and in that chat, the people that are regulars that I see, I have my conservatives in there, I got my progressives in there, I even got my liberals and others in there as well. So if you want to have a program of this type, then that's what you got. Let me throw it to Howard. Come on in, Brother Howard.
Egberto, you were talking about you absolutely hate no one, no
yes, sir.
Point of view. That frees you.
Yes.
You don't have to carry that burden around with you. That frees you on how you operate and how you do things. And that's very, very admirable. That's a very admirable thing. You do, when a conservative calls in, or someone who just vehemently disagrees with you, one person comes into mind, you show them respect. You say, okay, that is your point of view. That is your opinion. You've got it out there. This is the device to do it. And if you don't support this show may go away. We may not have Politics Done Right. We may have something else in there that you won't like. So please open that up. Support Politics Done Right. Support the other fine programs we have here on KPFT. Because if you don't, it may go away one day. You'll tune in and there'll be some religious programming on there. There'll be some foreign language programming on there. We want to keep KPFT the voice of the people here in town. So please Open that up. Support it. Support KPFT.
Absolutely. So I'm sorry. I jumped on you.
I was just in the process of wrapping up here, but do that. It's a very important voice in our community. You get shows like Politics Done Right coming up here in just a short 10 minutes or 12 minutes or so. Democracy Now! Amy Goodman. I mean, who would not support the free voice of the people and the unbiased voice of the people? That's what KPFT brings to you, brings to your radio dial, and you can help support that at kpft.org. You can call us at 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Make your donation today. We're not asking for a fortune. We're just asking for a helping hand to keep folks like Egberto on the air, to keep Politics Done Right. And this is a very important thing. And this man right here, Egberto, gives respect, even if you vehemently disagree with him. He will give you the platform. That is your platform. You are supporting your platform to vehemently disagree with Egberto. And some people do. And other folks agree with him. I'm sort of middle of the road. I agree with some of it. I don't agree with some of it. But it's the support that we need. 713-526-5738. Extension 1 to give, kpft.org, and select Politics Done Right as your favorite show, because it's one of my favorite shows. Now back to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me tell you guys, and I'm going to be frank with our entire audience. It always seems that, and that's because that's how it is. Music programs, not only because of the offers they have with concert tickets, etc., but it just seems that people contribute a bit more. Welcome aboard, John Cotter. He's flying into Indiana, or he's flown into Indiana, and he's given us a shout. Thank you for being here, brother John Cotter. John is the president of the Humble area Democrats. Anyhow, here's the thing, folks. The music shows will always be there. For some reason, they fund much easier than talk show programs. Talk shows sometimes can be boring. Sometimes we can be, well, you know what it's like. But we are also essential, especially on a station like Pacifica Network, KPFT here on Pacifica Network, whose policy is to promote peace, to promote activism, etc. But it can only do that with your support. Now, I want you guys to think about this. And then I'll go into the GOP tanking economy subject. I want you guys to think about this and think about this. When the corporation asks you to pay them monthly for cable, we pay an inordinate amount of money for something that we don't use at all, for something that we know misinforms us, for something that we know we are overpaying for. Some people are paying $100, $200, $300 a month for cable. I'm asking you, $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month to support the station. You're not only, yes, you're doing it in the name of Politics Done Right now. If you do it now, if you select Politics Done Right as the option, but you are given a fraction of money, a couple of coffees a month, 3 or 4 coffees a month if you want to, so that we can continue to provide this info. And some days, and let me just be frank, some days you're going to like the program. Some days you're going to say, well, why the hell didn't he talk about XYZ? And that's why even you have control of the program. You can send an email to kpft@politicsdoneright.com and say, Egberto, why didn't you cover this? Or why didn't you say that? And you know you're going to get a response, because this is an interactive program, both online and through the air, interactive. And we listen to you. We listen to your emails, something that you don't get when you subscribe to a cable network or whatever. I'm not telling you to drop your cable or something like that. We don't have the throughput. But I am sure you can find a reason to say, you know what? I have the ability to give a few coffees a month to this station, or even one time to this station. It's worth it, because you know I'm going to do the work. As far as politics is done right is concerned, you know I'm going to do the work to bring you what I think will be there para dar nutrición a la mente, to give nutrition to the mind. Every day, 16 hours a day, I make sure to put the work in so that these programs can have value to you. So I ask you again, 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to give, extension number 2 to be on air. I probably have the ability to just take one more call for today, but let's go ahead and talk about the moms demand, not moms, we did that already. Let's go ahead and talk about the tanking of the economy. You know, there's an article that came out on Common Dreams. The title was, "Beware, vicious spending caps by GOP are designed to hurt, not help U.S. economy." And earlier, TAG called in. And when TAG called in, he talked about KPFT having to pay all its bills all at once, but that we can't leave anything unpaid for, right? Otherwise, our lights go out. The tower that transmit the big signal, the 100,000 watt, can't get its over. So here's what the article said. Americans are facing problems that need solutions. We have a shortage of workers across employment sectors, and it is holding our economy back. Our children are suffering with decline in performance in school and surging emergency mental health needs. Millions of people struggle to pay for food and rent. Over the past decade, federal spending caps, not overspending, but spending caps, limited the nation's ability to respond to these needs. In a new analysis of 178 federal programs that serve people with low incomes, the Coalition on Human Needs found that more than 2/3 had lost ground from fiscal year 2010 to fiscal year 2023, adjusted for inflation. These included job training, education, nutrition, mental health, and housing programs. These and many more services were constrained by caps approved by Congress that were in effect from fiscal 2012 through fiscal 2021. These caps were far less extreme than the one recently passed by the House of Representatives, which they are insisting should be the price of preventing default. But they hurt. They make us less able than we should have been to address the problems we're facing now. And so far, Republicans have convinced many people that we're spending too much. Yeah, we're spending too much, but not where you think. We're spending too much on the military when we spend $10,000 for something that costs $300 to enrich our executives at these defense industrial complex companies. But folks, when people are asked, are we spending enough on education? They say no. Are we spending enough on healthcare? They say no. Are we spending enough on all these other subjects? They say no. But at the same time, they say we're spending too much. The average American citizen have said we're spending too much. The government is. But when you ask them about these other programs, they say, no, we need this. We need that. We need that. Why is this occurring? This occurs because the news media out there, they are not sufficiently informing Americans of what's occurring. If Americans knew what the draconian nature of what Republicans are holding America hostage for, this debt ceiling, what they want to force the Democrats to support, it will hurt their own constituents. Appalachia would be in trouble. The only thing that's going to save Appalachia is if Biden doesn't fall for the trap. If Biden says no. John Carter says, just look at the boondoggle that is called Boeing. They're milking the taxpayers with the new Air Force One, the C-46 tanker program, plus many others. That's where the money is. Corporate America, the things that the Republicans say are untouchable. We can't touch this. We can't touch that. That's where the money is. But they'll say they want to cut the program for developing pandemic-like drugs to prevent pandemics. $5 billion cut there. Folks, that's why you need KPFT. I'm going to do one last push. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Please support that which will inform not only you, because it's not good enough that you are informed. We have to be here to inform all of the rest as well. My name is Egberto Willies. I ask you kindly again to call 713-526-5738, extension number 1, a gift of any amount. But you heard what I had before. Thank you so kindly. My name is Egberto Willies. I want to thank Jack Van Beber. I want to thank Howard Reynolds in the studio right now. My name is Egberto Willies. It's Politics and Random. You guys know how I end this. Baby, I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.